expected laboratory results for the secondary hemostasis. Okay? So let's start with, by the way, lahat ng pag-uusapan natin na test sa secondary hemostasis ay tinatawag natin na clot-based. Okay? Clot-based test or clot-based coagulation test. So, lahat ng clot-based tests na na-mention sa inyo during the different diseases like PT, PPT, TCT, all of these are based in the Lee-White test, which is now obsolete. Hindi na po natin yan ginagamit nowadays because there are more appropriate and specific tests, no? Kasi ang Lee and White that was established in 1913 pa, and that will detect, no, the problem in the coagulopathy. Pag sinabi natin coagulopathy, ibig sabihin, ito po yung sa coagulation ng secondary hemostasis. So yun po yung iba't ibang pathway, if you remember. We have the extrinsic, intrinsic, and the common pathway. So the problem in the Lee and White, or the disadvantage in the Lee and White coagulation time test is that you're going to use whole blood. Okay? And there, in whole blood, there are, when you say whole blood, included po pati dito yung mga solid components ng blood. Diba? That could interfere with the clotting process. Dito sa mga bagong test natin, we're only going to use plasma. Okay? Plasma. Other than that, sa Lee and White, hindi natin mapipinpoint. Is it the extrinsic, intrinsic, or the common pathway? That's the problem. Okay? So, by the way, ang problem na tinutukoy natin dito is coagulation factor deficiency. Okay? Coagulation factor deficiency. Ibig sabihin, meron ba tayong deficiency sa factor 2, factor 7, etc. Yun po yung hinahanap natin. Okay. Now, sa Lee and White, hindi natin ma-establish kung aling pathway nagkaroon ng problem. Okay? Dito sa mga makabago, no, dito sa newer test ng clot-based coagulation test, we can pinpoint anong specific part ng coagulation nagkaroon ng problem. Okay? So, let us start with the prothrombin time. So, I already have the annotations. So, para mabilis yung discussion natin. Okay. Ang mini-measure natin, by the way, na result, since we're looking into the duration, we are going to record the time. From the time na wala pang clot, naglagay ka ng reagent, until such time na mag-form ng visible clot. So, yun yung nire-record natin, duration of time. So, ibig sabihin, ang abnormal result ay either shortened or prolonged. Okay? Ito yung hinahanap natin na abnormal na result, shortened or prolonged. Understood? So, kapag shortened, possibly maagang na-initiate yung coagulation. Ibig sabihin, maaga pong na-activate bago tayo magdagdag ng reagent. Naintindihan? Shortened. Pangalawa, yung abnormal, prolonged, kapag kulang yung mga coagulation factors. So halimbawa, may deficiency yung patient sa factor 10. Yung patient may deficiency sa factor 7, etc. So kung merong kulang sa coagulation factors natin, ang mga coagulation test na to will be prolonged. Okay. So sa prothrombin, di ba sabi mo, Ma'am Penina, specific pathway yung madedetermine natin. Right? Sa prothrombin, it is determining deficiency in coagulation factors involved in extrinsic and common. I repeat, extrinsic and common. Now, if you remember, etong kulay green, diba? Yan yung ating extrinsic pathway. Yung blue, eto yung common pathway. So, ibig sabihin, kapag may problem tayo, deficiency sa factor 7, by the way, pinaka-sensitive ang PT sa factor 7. So, if there's deficiency in factor 7, that could be detected immediately by the prothrombin time. Moderately sensitive ang PT kay factor 10 and factor 5. Then, sensitive pa rin naman, no? Least sensitive to factor 2, factor 1. So, kung maaalala ninyo, ito po ang factor 7, okay, ito po ang factor 10, factor 5 sa common, factor 2 sa common, factor 1 sa common, factor 7 sa extrinsic. Understood? Now, in Coumadin therapy, the oral anticoagulant Coumadin suppresses factor 7, factor 10, and factor 2. Therefore, can also prolong prothrombin time. Understood? Okay. Now, for factor 1, di ba least sensitive ang prothrombin time sa factor 1? Pero napoprolong pa rin ha. Kung may kulang sa fibrinogen, napoprolong pa rin ang PT. Pero, you need to remember, napoprolong lang ang PT kapag ang fibrinogen level ay less than 100 milligram per DL. Ang normal kasi na value ng fibrinogen natin is more than 200. That's 200 to 400. That's the normal value. 200 to 400 milligram per DL. But, if, imagine niyo yung window between 101 to 199. Madedetect ba yan ng PT? Hindi po. Kasi ang nadedetect ng PT para maging abnormal siya kung fibrinogen ay deficient is kapag ang fibrinogen less than 100 milligrams per DL na lang. Okay? Kaya least sensitive ito sa factor 1. Kasi merong threshold na para maging prolonged yung result ng prothrombin time. Malinaw po? Okay. Now, the PT is a simple test because you're only going to use one reagent and your sample. So, ang sample dito is citrate plasma. So, yung blue top. Okay? Nakapag-collect na kayo niyan sa phlebotomy ninyo. So, ano bang laman yan? So, once na sinentrifuge nyo yan, yung plasma na makukuha nyo dyan ay tinatawag na platelet-poor plasma. I repeat, platelet-poor plasma. Bakit platelet-poor? Kasi po, nagsettle na yung plasma doon sa formed element sa ilalim after centrifugation, yung nasa sediment po, nasa sediment kasama ng mga red blood cells, di ba? Okay, platelet-poor plasma. Then, the platelet-poor plasma is added with a reagent. The reagent is called the PT reagent. What is the component of the PT reagent? So, tissue factor, it consists of thromboplastin. Ano ba yung thromboplastin na yan? Thromboplastin is made up of tissue factor suspended in phospholipid mixed with calcium. And yung calcium na yan is in the form of 0.025 molar solution of calcium chloride. Malinaw? So technically, anong component ng thromboplastin? Tissue factor, calcium, phospholipid. Mas pinakamataas ang concentration ng tissue factor dyan ha. Bakit? Kasi if you remember, tissue factor will activate what? Factor 7. Yan po ang start ng extrinsic. So para magsimula ang extrinsic pathway once na nag-add tayo, ano bang nasa platelet ano bang nasa platelet poor plasma? Mga coagulation factor. So dinedetermine natin. Kapag nag-collect tayo ng plasma sa pasyente, nagdagdag tayo ng PT, yung plasma niya ba, may normal amount ba yan ng mga coagulation pathway, coagulation factors ng extrinsic at common? Kasi kung meron, normal ang range, which is 12.6 to 14.6. Pero kung kulang, may problem. Halimbawa, walang factor 7 o kaya kulang ang factor 7, kulang ang factor 10, etc., mapoprolong. Malinaw po ba? Okay, now, let me go back. So, pag nagdagdag ka ng PT reagent sa platelet poor plasma, i-measure po natin yung time para mag-form siya ng clot. Kung prolonged, may kulang. Diba? Kung normal, kompleto. Right? So this is measured either via optical or electromechanical sensor. So meron tayong mga equipment na ginagamit to determine the presence of the clot. Tapos, igagawin niya naman to sa laboratory. Upon adding the PT reagent, magpo-form yan ng clot, so dapat mag-stop yung time. Right? So, if the time is from 12.6 to 14.6. So by the way, pwedeng magbago yung reference interval natin depende sa laboratory. Okay? Depende sa laboratory yan kasi they will make their own reference interval based on the population that they have. Okay? Based on the result of the population they have. But anyway, generally, approximately 12.6 to 14.6 ang kino-consider natin na normals. In seconds yan ha. Okay, and by the way, yung reagent na nabanggit ko kanina, that is usually extracted from organic extract of emulsified rabbit brain or rabbit lung. Okay, yung PT reagent na yan, galing sa organic extract of emulsified rabbit brain or rabbit lung. Okay, anyway. So, i-mention ko na rin dito, ang PT insensitive o hindi siya nagre-react. Okay? Kapag ang deficiency ay factor 8 at factor 9. So bakit ko nabanggit si factor 8 tsaka si factor 9 dito? Eh hindi naman siya member ng extrinsic at common, di ba? Nasa intrinsic yan eh, factor 8 and factor 9. So bakit natin nabanggit? Kasi mga vitamin K dependent group din sila. Okay. So ang PT kasi, okay, punta ako sa next na ano natin. Ang PT kasi is used to detect deficiency in factors associated in the extrinsic and common pathway. Okay? And mga vitamin K dependent factors. Okay. Pero tandaan, hindi naman lahat ng vitamin K dependent factors ay under ng extrinsic at common. Kasi 'di ba yung iba under ng intrinsic. At kasama doon si factor 8 at factor 9. Though they are vitamin K dependent, they are under intrinsic. So hindi po magiging sensitive dyan ang PT. Hindi mapoprolong ang PT kapag etong dalawa yung deficient, even though they are vitamin K dependent. Understood? Si factor 13 naman, kung napapansin ninyo, di ba member yan ng common? Eh bakit insensitive si PT? Kasi mataas, dahil sa mataas na component, mataas na tissue factor component ng PT reagent, nababypass na yung coagulation system. Okay, for a while. PT sa factor 13. Kasi po, ang laman ng PT reagent natin is puro mga, mataas na concentration ng tissue factor. Therefore, nababypass na yung thrombin generation. So remember, um, ang nag-activate kay factor 13 sino? Di ba si thrombin? Okay? So, dahil sa mataas na issue factor concentration ng reagent natin, hindi na po nagiging sensitive pa sa activation ng extrinsic at common yung factor 13. So, sa PP na rin natin na detect yung deficiency sa factor 13. So, insensitive na po. Naintindihan? So, if you're going to measure factor 13, we cannot use PP because of the reagent. Clear? Okay. Now, saan po natin ina-apply ang prothrombin time? Okay? Number one is to monitor the oral anticoagulant therapy, which I already mentioned during our midterm discussion about the thrombotic therapy. Naalala ninyo yung oral anticoagulant na Coumadin? So, di ba? The Coumadin is a antithrombotic therapy that is suppressing. Isang yung antithrombotic therapy, ang problem natin over ang production ng coagulation factors. Di ba? So, ang sinusuppress ng Coumadin dependent factors. That includes factor 7. Di po ba? So, ngayon, kung imo-monitor natin, remember I told you before, bakit natin kailangan i-monitor ang mga oral anticoagulant therapy? Kasi po, pag nasobrahan naman, di ba ang problem, thrombotic, nagpo-form ng clot kasi sobrang dami ng coagulation factor. Para saan ang Coumadin? Suppress natin yung mga coagulation factors na na-produce. Diba? Para hindi mag-clot ng mag-clot. Hindi pwede na masobrahan yung Coumadin. Kasi pag over-suppress naman yung mga coagulation factor, mag-result naman sa bleeding. Diba? So we don't want that to happen. So we need to monitor it so that we maintain that no bleeding will occur and at the same time, nababawasan natin yung coagulation factor. So dapat ma-maintain natin siya at normal range. So dapat yung prothrombin time at first, 'di ba? Dapat mano-normalize natin at a therapeutic level. So yun naman yung pag-uusapan natin next time. Ano ba yung mga therapeutic level nung mga coagulation tests sa mga thrombotic therapy. So anyway, so we're using prothrombin time here. Okay, bakit? Si Coumadin kasi ang sinosuppress niya mga vitamin K dependent. Okay, and vitamin K dependent factors are sensitive dyan ang PP. Okay. Next, mga hematologic disorders or hemorrhagic disorders such as DIC. What is DIC? Disseminated intravascular coagulation. So, nasulat ko na dito kung ano yung problem. The problem is, nag-form ka ng clot. Diba? Sa DIC, nagpo-form ka ng clot. Tapos, paano ka naka-form ng clot? Sa clot na na-form na yan, na-consume dyan yung mga coagulation factor. So ano naman, kung na-consume yung mga coagulation factor na punta sa clot, di pag kumuha ka ngayon ng plasma, what will happen to the coagulation factor level? Mababawasan kasi na-consume na siya sa clot. So therefore, kung mababa ang coagulation factor sa DIC, ano mangyayari sa coagulation test? Mapoprolong. Malinaw po? Next, liver disease. Bakit? Sa liver disease, tandaan ninyo, ang coagulation factors, these are proteins. Mga protein yan eh. Ano ba ang purpose ng liver? The liver is synthesizing proteins, including the coagulation factor. So therefore, if it is if we have a problem in the liver, then therefore, the coagulation factors will also be affected. Diba? Magiging deficient din, pati yung mga coagulation factor natin kung may problema sa liver. Right? Next is vitamin K deficiency. So, like what I've mentioned earlier, ayan, isa sa mga tinitignan natin na factors kapag prolonged ang PP is yung mga vitamin K dependent factor. Other than the factors in the extrinsic and the common, characteristically, mga vitamin K dependent factors. Okay? Ngayon, kung may vitamin K deficiency, ano mangyayari doon sa mga vitamin K dependent factors? Di ba naalala niyo yung PIV ka? Okay? So magiging PIV ka yung mga vitamin K dependent factors natin. So question, ano ba ang reason bakit nagkakaroon ng vitamin K deficiency? Number one, kulang ang diet, 'di ba? So malnutrition, kulang yung mga kinakain natin na vitamin K rich food, or yung patient may malabsorption syndrome. So kahit kumakain siya, hindi naman na-absorb. So wala rin. Hindi din niya magagamit yung vitamin K. Next, yung mga broad spectrum antibiotic. So halimbawa, nagkaroon ng infection yung patient. Tapos, nag-take siya ng broad spectrum. Tapos kaya natin siya tinawag na broad spectrum kasi even the normal flora are affected. So remember, the normal flora of our gut. Okay? Naalala ninyo yung GIT? Anong ginagawa? Sila E. coli. Anong ginagawa nila sa vitamin K? Kino-convert nila into active form para magamit natin. So kung mamamatay yung mga normal flora na yan, hindi natin mako-convert sa normal form, I mean sa active form, yung mga vitamin K na kinakain at naa-absorb natin. Okay? Newborns are deficient in vitamin K normally. Mababa talaga yung vitamin K nila. Bakit? Kasi wala pa naman silang normal flora, 'di ba? At when the newborns are not yet eating solid food, therefore hindi pa nila na-establish yung normal flora nila. So dahil doon, mababa din yung vitamin K nila. Okay? So with this, nagiging deficient ang vitamin K. Okay, now, napoprolong lahat ng yan, DIC, liver disease, vitamin K, kulang ang mga coagulation factor, di ba? Mababa. So ano nangyayari sa PT? Napoprolong. Understood? So, paano natin i-differentiate ang liver disease at vitamin K deficiency? Kasi itong dalawang to ang magkaparehas yung manifestation or yung pathology. So, paano natin yan i-differentiate? Parehong prolonged ang PT dyan. Sa DIC, walang problem kasi we can use other tests with that. No? PTT is also affected in DIC. Sa liver disease vitamin K, paano natin sila i-differentiate? Gagamitin natin si factor 5 at si factor 7. Okay? Si factor 5 ay non-vitamin K dependent factor. Hindi siya vitamin K dependent. Si factor 7, vitamin K dependent. Diba? So, kung vitamin K dependent, kung vitamin K deficiency, alin ang deficient? Only factor 7. Diba? Only factor 7 is low. Tapos, si factor 5, normal yan. Bakit? Hindi naman yan vitamin K dependent eh. So, normal po yan kapag may vitamin K deficiency ang patient. Ang mababa lang sa pasyente, yung factor 7. Diba? Yung factor 5, normal. By the way, nakalimutan kong sabihin, pagkatapos po ng prothrombin time, paano natin nalalaman kung ano yung specific factor? So we are going to perform specific coagulation factor test. Ano yung mga yon? I-measure na po natin yung level, halimbawa, ng factor 7, i-measure na natin yung level ng factor 5, etc. So meron tayong mga individual assay. Okay? So, ulitin ko lang, kapag may vitamin K deficiency ang pasyente, diba, prolonged yung kanyang PT. So, tignan natin yung level ng factor 5 at factor 7 niya. Alin ang deficient? Yung factor 7 lang. Normal ang factor 5. Pero, sa liver disease, parehas deficient. Parehas mababa. Bakit? Kasi 'di ba, ang liver, yan ang organ responsible for the synthesis of proteins. So kahit yan ay vitamin K dependent o hindi, 'di ba? Non-vitamin K dependent, dahil parehas silang protein, parehas po yan mababa sa liver disease. Malinaw? So factor 5 and factor 7 are both low in liver disease. Okay? So the other slides will be discussed in the following meetings. So hanggang dito lang po muna tayo for today. May tanong po ba, clarification or question? Kung